everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. This is a Sewing Tuesday, but it's actually going to be two parts. So the first day we're sewing, and the second day I'm going to show you how to do the same thing without sewing. So we are going to be making ephemera holders. And if you don't know what that is, basically it's just a book with pockets so you can store your cutout pieces. So you can put them into collages, on tags, on whatever you want. So this is what we're doing today. I'm going to show you how I made this with my sewing machine. So you will need, I did not do, we're not going to do the outside cover because this would be way too long. So this one has two pockets. And there's going to be 3 signatures for each. So I already got one set done, and I'm going to show you how I do those. So you will need, this is out of cardstock, and then what I use is pocket protectors. This time of year you can get, sorry for the glare, you can get quite a few pretty cheap. These are the thicker kind because I just like them thicker because you are going to be going in and out of them. So this is what we'll be doing today. So this is part 1. It will be the Sewing Tuesday. Part 2, I'm going to show you how I did this one, and this one is actually this is vellum that I used, and it holds up pretty good. I have quite a few in here, and I haven't had any issues with them yet. So yeah, this is what we're going to do for the next 2 days. So they're going to be back-to-back videos. So let's get started. Okay, so you're just going to take your 8.5 by 11 cardstock, fold it in half like you would if you're going to put it in a signature to a journal. And so you're going to have a 5.5 by 8.5. So what you're going to do is you're going to be cutting these off, and I'll show you how. And I do them in like 3 inches, 3.5 inches, 4 inches, 4.5, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. So those are what I do them as. And the width I do it is 5.25. That way there's space. And then the height is all varied. So when I get to that point, I'll show you how I do that. So when cutting them, I just use a regular cutter, and definitely have more here than what we'll need. So first thing I do is, let me get paper behind this. Here's, grab a sticky note. So as you can see, it has these double lines. First thing I do is cut those off. So I just get as close to that as possible and slice it. So now you are with a piece that has closed here and a closed down below. So I flip it around so this open part is over, and I cut that at 5.25. And you want to make sure they are all the same. So if you want to cut them 5, cut them 5. But, or whatever, depending on what the width of your paper is. They need to be the same. Because when you're sewing them in, this side is the exact same as this side. And let's see, there we go. So they're both the exact same, and you do that because of how you sew it, because you're sewing both sides at the same time. So you want to do 5 1/4, at least that's what I do. And now you have this piece, which we'll use, which has both, and this piece that opens up and just has this. But we don't want to cut this off yet. So the way that I do it is I use this because I know it's going to be even, and I just cut the widths I want. So we're going to cut these at 3.5 for right now, because that's the size I am out of, I think. Let me look. Yeah, I am out of 3.5, so we're going to be cutting 3.5. And then, yep, we can get one more 3.5 out of this one. So depending on how big your pockets are, will depend on how many of these you can get done. Like with just that one, we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So, and then this next piece, I cut 5.25, and you can get 2 cuts this length. Okay, now you have this piece, and what I do is, I'm going to do a 2.5. So there we go. And I think I'm going to do this one at a 3. Okay, so I'm just going to find, here's my 3 back. And my 2.5. So I'm going to cut some more, fast forward to let you see my process, and we'll go from there. So now I'm going to show you how I do these. So I pick what lengthwise I want. It just varies on what you want. But we're going to start this one with a 4. And I make sure I grab 2. Well, these are 4.5. I make sure I grab 2 of them. One for the front and one for the back. And then I'm probably going to do, let's see, do we want a 3 or a 3.5? Let's do a 3.5. So, and it just depends on how much space you want. You can put it up here, you can put it down here, it varies, whatever you want. So now how I do it is I just glue. So this glue is not permanent on plastic. I'm using Berry Art. I used art glitter glue, wasn't permanent on plastic, which is why we sew it. So This is not a project that you can sit down and get things glued and then wait and then go sew, because yeah, it'll fall off. Been there, done that. And it doesn't matter if you have little spots or whatever, because you're sewing it. The object of this is just to get it down and hold it in its place long enough for you to sew. So I leave a little bit of space on this edge, but I like more space over here where the curve is. That's just my preference. Do it any way you want. And this is almost to the bottom. And now we're going to glue the next one. And you just put this one where you want. Again, you leave a little bit of space on the side just because that's what I like. You are going to get some slippage like that because it's not going to permanently stay. But hold it good enough until we can get it to the sewing machine. Okay, so to make sure they're even, what I do is I put this up just a tad. Make sure, let's see if you guys can make sure that it's even the way it is, you know, they look good, and then flip it around and I make sure it goes a little bit over. If it is not perfectly lined up this way, that's okay, because we use a zigzag to sew it, and that's why we use the zigzag. So now we're going to do that with this one. So again, we're going to lift that up on this other side so I can see where to line my edges, and then looks like that's right. Then I take it and I pull it over a little. There we go. And now we just do this one. So I think we're going to do a 4" on this, and oh, there goes my last 4". Should have cut more of those. And I think let's do a 3½. I think that will work. And if you don't like the way it looks, switch it. Don't use it. Okay, now again, I'm going to take it and look on that side. See how, yep, those look pretty even right there. And then we're going to flip this back over and just pull it a little bit sideways, because you know that's, and I wouldn't worry about extra glue under here because it's not going to stay. That's why this method works pretty good. At least it works good for me. Alright, so now again, we're going to lift that up. Okay, that looks good. Pull it down just a tad so we know that's, there we go. Now I would do about 2 or 3 of these, maybe 4 depending on how fast you are, and then sew. So I'm going to work on these. I'm going to speed this process up, and then we will sew. That is one bright pink. Okay, so we are at the sewing machine. This is the 3rd time I have tried to record this, so hopefully this goes through. Oh, so I will show you how I sew all this on. I use a zigzag. That way, when you are sewing these, you can, and if they're just a tad off, then they can, it'll still catch it. So, yeah, okay. We're just gonna grab one and go. So I will show you how I do this, walk you through, and then the others I will just fast forward through. So here we go. And I back stitch. And I always try to make sure that I do have it topped. And I only back stitch when I stop and like at the, when I switch positions. I'll show you what I mean. Like right here, I don't need to back stitch because we are just flipping this and going down. But whenever I'm going to cut threads, that's when I back stitch. Alright, now we're going to go I'm back stitching because I'm going to lift this, flip it, move it over. I'm not cutting my threads, I'm just moving it over. And then I'm going down and back stitching this part because these threads will be cut. And now I'm going on. Now I'm flipping and going. Okay, now I'm in the back stitch. Lift up. I'm just moving this down. I'm not cutting my threads yet. You are welcome to cut your threads in between these if you want to. I just don't. So now I'm going to back stitch. I'm lifting, pulling up, putting that right here, and then we're going to back stitch. Okay, now this time I'm going to be pulling this out because I'm going to be going all the way back over here to sew. But at this time I like to flip it over just to make sure I got what I was needing, which I did. Then I deal with all the threads later, but there you go. So sometimes, oh, what's the ones I did this earlier? No, got that one. Yeah, like see this? I did not get it. I barely caught that. So I'm gonna have to re-sew that one. And there was another ones that I barely caught. Or maybe not. Yeah, this one. So I barely got this and I didn't even get that. So I'll have to re-sew these ones. Which here, I'll just show you how I do that. So when I look, and obviously I didn't get that, and I didn't get that, and sometimes that happens. But the important thing is that I did not get that. That is important. Everything else looks good. So what we do is go right there and start sewing and back stitch because you know it's going to be cut. And this what happens when you are off, which everyone gets now and then. Okay, and I'm making sure I get that. Scissors are horrible. So when you look on the other side, you're just going to see double on wear, but you'll still have a good amount of pull. So that's what happens. Now I'm going to fast forward through this. Okay, so now we have them all done, and let's get the case out. I did these as 4 together to make 3 signatures. I am not sewing these in because I want my mom to be able to, this is going to my mom, I want her to be able to move these around so she can have it the way she wants to, and then she'll sew them in. She does all this stuff too. And so, yeah, that's about what it will look like when it's done, after it gets sewn in. So meet me tomorrow, come back tomorrow, and I will have another tutorial on how to make one without the sewing machine. I did post a disaster zone cleaning video that will not come out until later this week, so this will actually come out before, but I talk about it coming out on Saturday and that I'm doing this because I got really sick. So I'm done with sinus infections. So anyways, ignore that, and I don't know where it will lie, but I will be doing a giveaway this week, near the end of this week, for on my birthday. I will be doing a video and releasing it on my birthday for releasing what I'm going to be giving away, as a, it's my birthday, I want to celebrate, so I'm giving stuff away. And in lieu, I'm also excited that I have my storefront open, so I'm giving stuff away for that too. So yeah, lots of fun stuff this week. Hopefully you guys will join me. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.